here's our first question. What is the opposite of -8 and how do we know? Well, in a previous video, I showed that opposites are two numbers that are the same distance from zero. One just going to the left of zero to negatives, and the other one the same distance to right. So let's think about this one. If we have -8, we know that it is 8 units away from zero on the left. So what if I just went 8 to the right? What number would you end at? Well, you would end at +8. So that is the opposite of -8. Let's write that down. 8 is the opposite of -8 because both are the same distance from zero. Okay, and let's see, make sure that that makes sense. Remember, opposites, they're just the same distance. I'm going to put that in there. We're going to think about distance when we think about opposites. And they're both the same exact distance, one going to the left and one going to the right. Let's look at problem number 2. We want to know what is the absolute value of -7. And absolute value, again, talks about distance. Distance from zero. So I'm going to draw another line. Here's a 0. Here's -7. And I just want to know, how far away is this number from 0? And I know it is 7 away from 0. So that is the absolute value. So I'm going to put that in. I'm going to use my symbol. The absolute value of -7 is 7. Because -7 is 7 units to the left of 0. And there we go. We have the first two. Let's hit pause and add this into our notes. Again, when we talk about opposites and absolute value, we're talking distances, and distances are always positive, which is why our absolute value is always going to be positive. Let's jump into one more, and now we have the absolute value numbers, but look at the difference here between this one and this one here. There's something about it, and what's different about it, if you look carefully, is that negative sign. One is on the outside and the other is on the inside. All right, so in the first one, I'm looking at the inside first, and that's telling me what is the distance of 4 from 0. So here's 0, here's 4. How far away is it? It's 4 units. So if I just simplified it, I would turn this number inside would just be equal to 4. But notice this negative is on the outside. So even though the absolute value of 4 is 4, because I want this negative is on the outside, it means I have to put a negative over here. Now I'm taking my absolute value and then making it negative. So please look and see where that negative is, if it's on the outside or the inside. And in my second example, I have it on the inside. That means I want the absolute value of -4. So here's my 0, here's -4. It's also 4 away from 0. But I can stop there. That's all they were asking me. This one over here is asking me for the absolute value and then making it 0. A little bit confusing. I will say, Math Marvels in 6th grade, you're more likely to see a problem like this than like this. But let's just pause. Please remember to look at what the symbol is between the absolute value symbols as you're working this out. And let's jump into today's mid-lesson assessment, and I will see you in the next lesson.